And go. Ready to go. Live. What's up, everybody? All right. If we could get a sound check, please, that would be great. Sound check. Make sure everything is working. Today's going to be very exciting with some filter talk.
Oh, yeah.
But we're actually going to do them. So it's a less than glamorous subject, but we're going to do our best to make it fun. All right. Mama, how are you? All right. All right. So, Captain Hare. 4 people. We'll let a few people get on there. Let us know if you can hear us. Let us know where you're watching from. We appreciate it. It's all things filters. All right. Christina, Angie, Mama. We got 8 people on there. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Sound is good. Jarrett, thank you. There's always one person who will give us the sound check we need.
Yes, it's very hot down there in Phoenix right now. Are you using your chili goat, Jarrett?
That's the best place for it.
Yeah. Connecticut.
All right. Very cool, very cool. So what we're going to do today... Hi, Sheila. So what we're going to do today a little different. So here, come on there. We're going to come over here and lean. So, we know that everybody, Susan, likes us to be in the water. So we're going to get in the water. And we're going to keep this as exciting as we can. So our filters in our 7.2, when's the last time we cleaned them? Be honest.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
Do as we say, not as we do.
And we say that because, we always want to give honest, interaction with us. And the thing is that's interesting is that we actually just took a calendar out and calculated this. We have only been here in the state of Connecticut for 8 days this month. The rest of it was traveling. So, we get a lot of questions on how often I should clean my filters. What should I do? What if you leave? We seem to be always gone. And our filters have not been touched. The water has not been touched. Once in a while, Mary's parents will drop a little bit of chlorine in there real quick. So we're actually going to clean our filters. Now, we're not going to do the bucket soak. If you read your manual, it says to once a month, soak them in the bucket. We're just going to do the rinse. We also have some new filters. If they look terrible, we might just switch them out. So, so you guys are live, and we're going to go look at the filters in our 7.2, and our travel is insane. So this should be sort of interesting to see what our filters look like. And most of you who know us know, what we're doing for care and maintenance on the water.
And just one thing to keep in mind too is that, so we've been here, 8 days out of, the entire month of August, and we were gone a lot of July as well. So the bather load in our hot tub and swim spa is not as heavy as some of you might be using. So, if you're in there every day, multiple times a day,
that's
with kiddos and, running from the yard and all of that, it's going to be a little bit different.
Right.
So, for example, the official recommendation on your filters is to rinse them, once a month, clean them with a filter cleaner once a month. But obviously that if you are using your swim spa a lot, you've got a lot of kids in there and so on, you're going to need to rinse them more often.
For sure. So actually Mary brings up a good point. So your use, your swim demand is going to be, or your filter demand is going to be based on extreme use, where ours is sort of based on neglect.
Right.
For lack of a better word, it's not intentional neglect. We're just not here.
And not
it's
only
a little different
not only
situation
that too. We had a question that came in ahead of time from someone. I think it was Christy in Connecticut asked about, she's rinsing her filters once a week. If that's part of your routine and it's working for you, you can't harm your hot tub or your filters if you're rinsing them more often. So, you know, could you go every other week? It kind of depends on, you know, how often you're using, how much hair, all that stuff is in there.
I will say this.
Once a week is amazing.
You know, we obviously have a swim spa at the house now, but we always had a hot tub prior to that. I've never rinsed filters once a week. Never, not even close. No matter what the use and demand was. So I'm going to say that I would never do that, and have never felt the need to do that. Some demands, you know, may require that. It's just never been my thing. So without further ado, should we take a look at these filters?
Yeah.
All right. You want to hold the camera?
Sure.
All right. This is our 7.2 over here.
Everyone watching, you guys know the drill, most of you. And if not, if you have any questions along the way here, post them and we will try to answer them as we go. Or if not, we will get to them later tonight.
So I'm going to put this on hold.
Yes.
You want to show that?
Turn your pumps off.
Yep. So I like to shut it off. And we're going to talk about... Oh, it didn't like that. The camera didn't like that. So let me flip that so you can see it. Okay. So I'm going to go right to hold.
Not everyone is going to have that same control panel.
Why is it not holding?
Holding for 1 minute.
1 hour.
Hold.
That should be 1 hour.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, now we're holding. All right. So these filters to me look like...
They're pretty nasty.
Ew. Okay, let's let them... I always, you know, I'm going to let you hold that so we can back up a little bit. I always sort of, you know, shake the water out. If they're really bad and there's all sorts of yucky, I'll just pull them right out.
Lauren, you're going to think that we're really gross after this. We haven't rinsed out these filters in a very long time because we haven't been here all that much, and so we're just really diving in here and showing the truth. So
now normally we clean ours in the ugly little slop sink in the corner, but we couldn't do that a whole lot, so we ran a hose out, and we'll do them out here.
all right. So
you shining that on me?
I'm trying. It's hard to see. All right. Yes, I see, Ben.
So the sun should be behind the camera. It's okay
Yep.
if it's in my eyes. This little brush I got, it's pretty rigid, and it's actually...
Yep. We've got a truck coming through here, so it's live, folks. All right.
We'll keep going.
Yeah. Okay. I'm close, so you can go ahead, Ben.
I'm going to give him 1 second.
Okay.
This absolutely stinks. Okay, so I got this little brush. It's actually not for this, but it works perfect. As you can see, it gets in there. So for a simple rinse, I wouldn't necessarily worry about doing that. But since we don't rinse them all that much, I'm going to give it a little brush out. Because why not?
And you can get an actual filter brush, maybe from your dealer or on Amazon. There's all different types of filter brushes that you can get as well. That is the... Yeah, Deb, we have a truck here, so we will be louder as soon as that truck gets away. We're just filming from our warehouse, and we've got some noise here, so...
He's a really good guy driving that truck, so I don't want to get angry with him.
Yeah.
But I'm surging with fury on the inside.
All right.
Okay. EcoPure filter. We never soak this, okay? So if you look at your manual, it says to soak these in a bucket with the filter solution, the filter cleaner, which is a degreaser, which is going to break down all the junk that's in there. This you don't do. This simply gets rinsed out. Okay? So we've got this handy dandy. You can put it on whatever you want, cone, shower, flat. It's got all this fun stuff. I'm going to use the full for this. And I'm just going to give this a simple rinse.
Ben is rinsing the EcoPure filter right now, just with water from the hose. Good pressure.
And in the spirit of more honesty, this is probably older than 6 months.
Yep. Or maybe just about. So we do recommend with the EcoPure filters to change them about once every 6 months, which is usually for the hot tubs when we recommend draining and refilling. Your swim spa, you don't have to drain every 6 months, but you may want to change your EcoPure once every 6 months. Paper filters, they'll last you a year, even more if you're really good about keeping them clean. So all Ben is doing right now is doing the rinsing of the filters. He's just taking the hose, and we have really good water pressure here. So he is just rinsing out the filters really, really well, trying to get into the grooves. So the best way to drain your hot tub is either to use the gravity drain that's inside your access panel, like where your pumps are. There's a gravity drain that you can hook your hose up to, or you can get a small sump pump and pump it out. You do need to pump out the water from your swim spa. There is no drain in the cabinet, so you will need to pump the water out if you have a swim spa, or you could siphon it. Like Ben always says, like old school, you can siphon it. And swim spa, you want to drain at least once a year. Michael, yep, this is not something we do all the time. So we love to be honest though, so here we are.
We're just not here that often.
Right. So Ben is using a makeshift filter brush. Yep. This is not specifically a filter brush, but it is working really well to get in the grooves of the filter.
It fits perfect.
You want to be able to get in there, especially if you haven't, rinsed your filters in a while. It just kind of gets rid of some of the yuck and the lint and the hair that gets in there just from use. And we want you to use it. So use your hot tub, use your swim spa, enjoy it, and just take care of those filters better than we do. So one of the things that we also wanted to talk about too, and if you saw the post on the Facebook Live, one of the things that we mentioned is help, my filters are orange or blue or brown, what's the matter with them? So mostly it probably means that you have some minerals in your water, some metal in your water. So if you initially fill your swim spa or your hot tub and you have metal, you have hard water, maybe you have high iron or high copper, and you're going to put that sequestering agent, that metal out chemical into the water. Yeah. Yeah. But if you have some color that is getting in your filter when you initially fill it, that is your filter system and your sequestering agent doing its job. It's removing metal from the water, and that metal has to go somewhere, so your filter is collecting it and it's removing it. So you might get a little bit of a water line, which you can use a microfiber cloth or a sponge to wipe it off. If you need a little bit more pressure, you could use a Mr. Clean Magic Erase very lightly just to get rid of that color, that water line from the metal. And you may need to rinse out your filters a little bit more often when you initially fill it if you have hard water. And it will turn your filter a color. It could be orange, it could be like a brown if you have iron in your water. It could be like a bluish or greenish color if you have copper in your water. Another reason that your filters could be turning color is from lotions or sunscreen or makeup that you might, or someone might be wearing when they're using it. And obviously rinsing your filters often, at least once a month, and putting that, putting them in that filter degreaser or filter cleaning solution will help to get rid of those oils and greases that could be getting in the filters as well. So when they are a color or when they're dirty, it just means that they're doing their job. So.
And if you want to show them the new shiny filters, we've got on the carts.
Yep.
You're welcome to.
So someone just asked, my new Master Spa's hot tub eats chlorine levels to 0, cannot maintain all other levels are correct. So that's just because the EcoPure filter is doing its job. Cody, you're...
Closing the door back to private.
Part of the job of your EcoPure filter is to eliminate excess chlorine. So if it's eliminating the excess, you may just not be using enough, or your EcoPure is doing your job. If everything else is correct, just use a little bit more chlorine. I thought you weren't supposed to use high water pressure when rinsing off the EcoPure filter. You just want to rinse it with your hose. That was just be careful with it. Ben was being cautious, making sure that he wasn't putting all of the pressure on it. Chris, after draining your spa, is there any recommended maintenance that should be done? Nope, you just fill it back up unless you want to clean off some water lines or some, maybe some gook or whatever that might get on the hot tub or your swim spa. You can use a vinegar solution, or my favorite is I'm showing you the water here and I don't know why, but the Windex vinegar cleaner works really well, but you don't have to. You just fill it right back up. Deb, when you hire a water delivery service, you go in. When you hire a water delivery service to fill the swim spa, now, am I showing you, Ben?
Yes. You don't need to show me ungracefully get over the top of the hot tub.
When you hire...
Susan will be happy also.
Right. So we just saw how lovely that water was while Ben was putting the filters back in. Sorry. And you're just listening to me.
Right. And you guys know that we tend to use more chlorine, which is the only way we can do it with our schedule.
Yeah.
We can't, just has to be that way.
Okay. Sorry, Deb. When you hire a water delivery service to fill the swim spa, obviously the filter you use for the garden is too small. Is there another filter we should purchase to put on the huge hose they use? No. Mostly the water delivery service is going to be filtered and treated water. So let them fill it and go from there.
They should at least filter it.
Ben's filters are almost white again. They're not brand new white, but they certainly are much cleaner.
These ones?
Yes.
So we got some fun. So for me, when I clean a filter out, I like it to need it. Otherwise, it's not very satisfying. It's like Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah. Tana, I use bromine and the levels are almost always low. What is the acceptable level? So we don't use bromine because we use the EcoPure filters, and if you're going to use bromine, you need to eliminate the EcoPure filters, but we like those minerals. So I'm not really sure what the bromine levels are that would be acceptable, because we're not using that. We're not testing for bromine. We test for chlorine. So you may just want to check on the bromine bottle what is the acceptable level for your hot tub. And if you're using the EcoPure, you may need to eliminate the EcoPure filters. Challenger 15D here from Michael. Whenever I take my 3 filters out, since I have to pull them out into the water, so much of the stuff caught in them ends up floating into the spa. Any tips on how to make that cleaner?
I'll take this one.
Yep, go ahead, Ben.
I'll take this one. Okay, so yes, absolutely. So what you need to do for sure is make sure when you're pulling the filters out of a swim spa that has the enclosed filter where the Therapool 13 will be a little different. The Therapool Deep will be like the same as the Twilights. And the Trainer 12 also goes upright. So the rest of them will be in that filter weir. So the main thing you want to start with is making sure that you shut the tub off. Here's why. If you have a pump running and you pull that out, it's going to actually pull that stuff through, and if it's just small debris, it'll actually go through, cycle it through the pump, and then shoot it out. You know, like I have a circ pump, so I have to shut it down. The circ pump will actually flow some of that stuff out, and then it throws it all. Not only is it in the filter area, now it's in the whole entire swim spot. So make sure you shut the jets down, whether it's regular pumps or whether it's Master Pure, shut it down. Then when you pull the filters out, you guys, I have that Intech vacuum cleaner, and it sometimes takes two people if we've got a lot of junk in there. So, but you're 100% right. It does, when you pull the filter out, it kind of spills out. So I'll hold the vacuum, and remember what I said, you know, if they're yucky, when I was taking the filters out of this hot tub, I'll pull them right out and get them out of the way. This is that case. I want to pull the filter out as quickly as I can, and I'm going to hold the vacuum there and suck as much of that stuff into the vacuum as I can. There's always a little bit of vacuuming to be done after we do the filters if there's a junk in there. If we're doing them very often, there tends not to be as much stuff in there. So that's the trick that I use. I also have a pool net that, you know, like a skimmer, and I'll skim stuff right there. So I've always got both on hand, and I'll use whichever one feels like it'll work better at the time. Okay? Yep. So yes, absolutely. But shut it all down, and you can hold the vacuum. I've also even started vacuuming in that filter weir before I even take the filter out, which also helps. Yep. Okay?
Tana, if you are using the Eco Pure, you should be using the dichlor. And also, do you have a swim spa with soft tread? Because if you do, bromine will void your warranty if you're using bromine. So we do recommend dichlor, which is a low concentration of chlorine. It's also much less harsh on your body and your nose and all of that than bromine. Okay, Chris Laird. So you said we should drain our hot tubs every 6 months. That is the recommendation, at least once every 6 months. Do some people go longer? Absolutely. Are some people doing less, like every quarter? Yes.
It depends on your use.
Right. Absolutely.
If you have tons of use, then you're going to need to do it more often. If you're having parties in there all the time, the standard protocols do not apply to you. You need to do it a little bit more often.
Okay. Andreas, I'm not really sure what you're talking about with the full foam. I think we're back. We lost connection for a second. We use open cell insulation, so this is not that full foam that gives people problems. This is a fully serviceable hot tub. Anita, thanks. I had purchased filter cleaner from Amazon, wrong, and cleaned my filters and afterward left them to dry inside the house. Many of the folds are now black. Should I just replace the filters? Yeah.
Mold.
Yeah.
Yep, I know, you know, I've seen some. Is it pointed on me?
Yes.
Okay, so I've seen some neat contraptions that people have made themselves. They might even sell one on Amazon. That you sort of put the filter on and it spins around while you spray it. You can also dry it that way also. So in a perfect world, if you soaked your filters in the cleaner and then dried them and didn't use them again until they were dried, that would be fine. I don't ever have the time to do that. So for me, it's always, I'm either replacing them or I'm rinsing them.
Right.
I typically don't have a 24-hour period where I'm going to focus on that. We're stupid busy these days.
Yeah.
So
Dave Howard asked, what chemicals do you balance first when refilling? I find hardness hard to get correct.
You know what, everybody's water's a little different,
yeah.
Right? So geographically, you know, some people will say, geez, he must be doing something wrong if he's having trouble doing that. But don't feel that way, because everybody's water geographically is a little different. So what he may be experiencing, someone else has never experienced,
right?
And they just empty the hose out. The calcium is magically perfect. If it is what it is, and you just have to deal with it based on where you are. Okay,
yep.
I realize it's not a great answer, but it's sort of impossible for us, but you can, your calcium hardness, you want to deal with that. I would personally, I like to do the alkalinity first, and then pH, and then here we don't deal with the calcium. It's always in range, so it's not a problem that we have.
Yep. Barbie, copper can cause greenish color.
So greenish, there's a couple of things with green. Green can be a copper hardness. So you'll hear people, if you read on, especially on the Master Spas owners group, you'll have people come in there and say, my water's green. And then any of the people, the admin or anyone on there, how old is the water? I filled it yesterday. Then we know everything.
Yes.
We already know that it's not from lack of sanitizer. We know that it's from hardness. So copper tends to turn water green. And then also if you want to adjust all that stuff first and use a sequestering agent up front if you're not sure, because it will strip all that junk out of there, then alkalinity, pH, and then chlorinate. So all that stuff should be out before you chlorinate. A lot of times, like at my house years ago, I think we filled our hot tub when we had a hot tub one time from the hose, and we have a well. Our water is very hard. It's iron. It's not copper in our water.
Oh.
It's iron. So I didn't know. I think I was 31 years old. The first hot tub we ever had. So I filled it up. Water looked perfect, and then I threw some chlorine in there, closed the cover, came back, and it looked like iced tea. Like
right.
iced tea, but it was clear.
Right.
So I didn't realize it at the time that it was, the reaction from the chlorine and the iron. That's all it was.
Yeah.
To me, it was the end of the world, and so we just drained it and had the pool company bring water out. Green is copper, brown or orange is iron.
Iron.
Okay.
Val, I think you mean how do you reduce foaming when all the chemicals are within range? So foaming could be a couple of things. It could be detergent if you're washing your bathing suits in detergent. I actually usually recommend to customers to have a bathing suit or a set of bathing suits that if you're wearing them in the hot tub, that you wash by hand and don't ever put in the washing machine with detergents or softeners. It could be that. It could also be just time to change your water. Sometimes it gets foamy when your water is just old and there's not, you just need to change it. It's time. But if all of your chemicals are within range, it could be oils or detergent. This doesn't sound so easy. I keep getting emails that say you're located in Everett, Washington. I'm not really sure what that means, Elizabeth. We are, Master Spas is in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Maybe your local dealer is there in Washington. Michael, yep, thanks. I definitely use the hold feature, but I wondered if there was something I was missing. Sounds like it would be easier to do from in the spa with the vac net rather than out as I usually do. Yeah, it does help.
It can, especially with the vacuum, it can. So at home, Beth and I will team up, and I'll hold the vacuum in the water, and then I can see in there even better, get everything out, and then I'll unloosen it. She does not like to take the filters out, so I take the filters out, and she takes them and rinses them.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a two-part process
Yep.
for us, unless I'm doing it myself. But most of the time, we're doing it together. So good point. I actually want to talk. I'm sorry, Mara. You were about to start talking. I've seen some pictures of really horrible filters, like packed. I mean, I saw some pictures of filters that someone had the tub 2 years, never cleaned one single time. And when you see this, like, caked on, horrible, calcium, calcified, purple, crystalline.
Oh, yeah.
You just look at it, you're like, oh my God, how did this even happen? It is a chemical reaction. So the best I can tell is that it's from a really low pH situation reacting with too much sanitizer with a really low pH creates insanity on your filters. So you want to just pick your path if you're home and everything is easy, and you want to, whether you're using the Angie method, which is like the official method of Master Spas, where you're using a little bit of non-chlorine shock, and it's a little bit. You need to use a little bit, and then chlorinate once a week. We tend to go the opposite. Since we're not here, we use chlorine when we're in there, so that the water we just need it clean. We just need it clean.
Yeah.
So, and as a result of that, our filter, like the tops of the filters, were a little bit, faded and green, and that's just the way it is. So we understand that life isn't always perfect and schedules vary. You know, people are busy, people are not even around like us, and for example, and we all want to do the best we can. But those situations, you do have to clean the filters. And some of the pictures that I saw when I was looking and making sure I was up to date on this were horrifying. And I can't believe the tub even ran.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. So.
And if the filters are that gross, throw them away and get some new ones.
Sure.
Yeah.
So now what you guys may not know is, so we have a Master Spas owners group for Facebook, which is for the owners and the customers. Well, we also have a back end group that you don't have access to, and it's where dealers show the most horrific filters they've ever seen. Hey, what do you guys think about this? What the heck caused this? Even dealers send that stuff around to each other, so that's how we learn.
Right.
You know, if someone's seeing something weird multiple times, someone has dealt with it before. That's why we share, so that all of our dealers are up to speed with the weird stuff. You know, that no one.
So, I mean, if you do have weird questions, your dealer will probably know the answer, and if they don't, they can get the answer. So,
Absolutely. They can certainly
Jeff, yes, these spas are made in the U.S. Master Spas are made in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Jennifer, speaking of soft treads, all of ours have come up. We only use dichlor, and water has been great the whole time. You know, I don't. Sometimes it could happen. It is adhesive underwater for a long period of time, so you may just need to replace the soft tread. It is replaceable. Your dealer can install a new one. It's definitely worth.
And if it's brand new, call your dealer, because they'll take care of it.
Yeah.
So if that's the situation. So like we've never had any in here come up. I think at home I've got one step where the corner is coming up a little bit. I didn't even do anything about it. But other than that, we've never really seen it. And the first Challenger we had here, we had for a long time with tremendous use.
Yeah. And nothing. Yeah, we didn't have any
Tremendous
problems
use,
with it. Yeah. Ed, yes, as long. I mean, if your water is clean and clear, and the chemicals are all in balance, and you're not having any issues with the water, you don't have to change it.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
But I wouldn't let it go, more than a year, especially on a hot tub, without changing it. I mean, you do want to just put clean, fresh water, just in case there's some bacteria or anything in there that is just not showing up. So.
Yeah, the test strips aren't, showing the whole picture, obviously. So I would agree with that.
Barbie, I would definitely contact your dealer on that. If it came up with the first water fill, you want to definitely get that fixed by your dealer.
Yeah, call your dealer. They'll take care of that.
Jennifer, we haven't heard from anyone else that anyone is having trouble with the sound, so maybe it's your volume, maybe. I've been under chlorinating, usually sprinkle more in after guests get out. I've been told over chlorination, number one cause of heater breaking, etc. So I'm light on the chems. What do you think?
If the water is clean and clear, you're good.
Yeah.
You don't need any more than 1 to 3 parts per million. So if you're on the bottom side of that and you're maintaining, your water looks great, you're all set. Absolutely.
Andreas, if you go to the website, you should be able to fill in the information to get information about where your local dealer is. I'm just not sure where it is in your country. Awesome, Dave. We love that you love your Precision 8. Chris, not sure if you answered, but recommended.
One right behind you.
Yes, we do recommend draining the hot tub every 6 months, Chris.
This feels amazing, Mary, by the way.
Oh, good.
It's awesome.
Lisa, what would cause yellowish color water? Spa is 2 weeks old, filled with well water, but water has been fine until yesterday.
Yellowish, I'm going to say probably low sanitizer or a reaction on the light side of iron.
Yeah, maybe iron.
Iron would be yellow because it shows up as brown. High iron looks like iced tea, like dark iced tea.
Right.
Like mine did in a reaction with chlorine. Obviously green is copper, and then orange is also iron, but it's a smaller amount of it. So yellow, I would say, would be even lower than that. So probably iron.
Yeah,
hardness.
and yellow foam could be from that too. You may need to use someone else just asked the same thing, but it may be from, you may need to use a sequestering agent, which is kind of like a metal eliminator.
Metal be gone, metal out,
Yeah.
all that stuff. And the other thing is that if you had 3-month-old water, 4-month, 5-month, 6-month, the water's always been great, but now it looks green and it's smelly, that's not enough sanitizer.
Right.
Okay, so that's not copper in there at that point, and that's why the first question out of anyone's mouth is always, how old is the water? Because it really tells us what's going on. And,
Yeah.
and that's what we're looking to hear, is whether it's minerals and just reacting with the chlorine or sanitizer to cause that color, or is it just low sanitizing situation? So, and if it's somewhere in the middle, it can be tricky for us, and a lot of times they'll say just dump it and refill it, especially if you have city water.
Yeah. Rosemarie, any pointers for getting ready your 15 deep for winter? Yes, use it all winter, enjoy it, maybe turn up the temperature a little bit, and have fun.
Yep, absolutely.
Totally
made for it.
We did have this question. If you are going to be away, or you know you're absolutely not going to be using it in the winter, you may want to winterize it. Just contact the dealer that you purchased it from to have a professional come and winterize it, because they will need to blow the lines out and put antifreeze. But really, we recommend using it.
Yeah.
They're awesome in the wintertime. They're super insulated.
Also talk about the warranty on that. So we always have people ask, does winterizing void the warranty? It does not. Okay, this is straight from the man Kirk himself. Winterizing a hot tub or a swim spot does not in itself void the warranty. If it's done incorrectly and results in something being damaged or frozen, that's when that particular situation will be voided. The warranty will be voided. Okay, so you always want to have your dealer do it. We do have some crazy, capable, technical people out there, and they can do it themselves, and they know who they are. If they're comfortable with that, then do it. You just got to make sure all that water is out of there.
Yep.
Okay.
Christina, I'm not really sure about any brand of filter. It just needs to be able to fit into the fittings for the filters that are in your hot tub or swim spa. And it also, your one filter needs to be able to fit the EcoPure cartridge, which can only be purchased from a Master Spas dealer. But if you have found filters, regular paper filters that are microban and they work in your fitting for your hot tub or swim spa, then that's fine. We do recommend keeping that EcoPure filter though. Okay. John, I went to local pool store to check water and said, don't worry about hardness. Is that true? If not, what should I do? So pools are different than hot tubs too.
But did they say not to worry about the hardness because it was within range, or because they said it didn't matter? It definitely matters. So you want it, what is it, 250? I'm pretty sure you want it right around 250 on the calcium hardness, and you do want that. So I'm not sure, if they were saying that it was within range and not to worry about it, or they were saying you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
You should keep it in range.
Yeah. Jennifer, if you purchase from a show, you did purchase from your local dealer.
Absolutely.
So even if they're not right next door or right in the same town, Master Spas dealers cover large territories. That's why we have those shows that you can purchase from. So just either call the number on the top of your contract, or maybe there's an email that you can contact. That is your local dealer, and they definitely are, they should be able to help you, or send someone who can help you.
Of course.
All right. Okay.
This is so much warmer than the water I was in yesterday.
Yes, Ben was in the Chili Goat yesterday. If you didn't see, you can see the link. That same person asked, what should they buy for hardness? I don't know.
They have calcium hardness increaser. Yeah, they have. There's a product for that, for calcium.
On my hot tub, my larger jet nozzles are very loose. Why and how do I tighten them?
What kind of hot tub? What year is it?
Yeah, Chris, they may not just be locked in place, or if
they do turn.
They turn on.
So they're supposed to turn. They're adjustable.
Yeah.
So that's
because that's going to turn them on or off or anywhere in between.
That's not loose. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Can you take this so that we have a couple of other questions that I just want to read?
Okay. Where are you going? All right. It's warm in here. What? It's 101. Mary's coming back. Those are good. It's the jet part. That was the jet. You mean the housing behind the jet?
Oh, so Christina also asked, despite rinsing my filters weekly, my control panel says to remove and rinse the filters. Your control panel doesn't know that you've done that. It's just an automated reminder that you can just exit out of. It is set. It is a default reminder.
Chris, what tub do you have? What year is it? How old is it? So he's saying that the jet housing behind it is loose, not the jet.
Okay. You may need to
if
call your dealer.
If that's loose, does it leak? Because if those are loose, that's leaking.
Yeah. And then we have a question from Kim in Tennessee. Jet 1 never stops running. It's low but always running. You may have your filter cycles set for 24 hours. So you can adjust that in your control panel so that it only comes on. If you want to keep it on for 24 hours, that's one thing. But if you wanted to adjust so it's coming on for 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours at night, you have completely programmable filter cycles right from your control panel, regardless of what type of hot tub or swim spa that you have. So that's all done right in the control panel.
Chris, I'm thinking if it's not leaking, there's nothing wrong. Because otherwise, if it were truly loose, you know, on the backside or even the front seal has to be making contact, or it would be leaking.
But I mean, if you're concerned,
you know
about
what? Yeah,
it,
call your dealer, call customer service, send them a video of it, and they'll tell you whether or not it needs to be addressed for sure. Okay. What else we got?
I think that's it. We're running at that time here.
I'm not sure what all that means, Loy.
So we will be back in 2 weeks, which is September 6th. We're in September, craziness. So we will see everyone there for Facebook Live. If you missed it, if you go onto our Master Spas page here, there is a link to see the chili goats on Fox and Friends yesterday morning. We were there in New York City, and it was a fun segment that we had there. So if you're interested, even just for a little laugh, to see Ben get really cold and maybe really warm, you can watch us and our boss, our good friend Kevin. You can watch us on Fox and Friends at the link. Probably posted sometime yesterday.
I'm going to answer these two questions.
Two more questions.
Two more quick questions. Dan, can I set filter cycles on a Trainer 19D trainer with 24-hour circulation pumps?
Yes.
It seems to only, so you can set them. I don't know if you want to set them more or if you want to turn them off. You can't turn them off, but you can bring them down to 15 minutes a day and just rely on the circ pump. The 24-hour circ pump is going to run 24 hours, but you can set the filter cycles above and beyond what the circ pump is doing if you wanted to. Not really sure why you would, but you could. Okay, or you can turn them down to 15 minutes. So like ours is turned down to 15 minutes because the circ pump is running. There's no reason to run pump 1. Next, Charlie. I have Trainer 15, and when pump 1 is running, the waterfalls are turned off. There is some water that trickles out. Yep.
That's
all the
normal.
time. That's totally normal because they don't want stagnant water sitting in those lines, because if you never turned them on,
it would grow mold.
Old hot tubs back in the day used to do that. It would turn, you'd end up not putting them on for 6 months, and then you turn them on and a slug of algae and mold gets shot.
It's
nasty.
on purpose.
It's on purpose, and it's to prevent that horrible yuckiness. So every time you see them trickling, be happy, because it's a really good thing.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for answering my questions. Awesome. Now we're good.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see everybody in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
In September. And we hope everybody has a great night.
Right
Thank
on,
you, guys.
Be good. Thank you.
If you have any other questions, post them. We'll get to them later. Bye.